Hi, I'm Victoria Santispago, and today you're going to learn how to play your first notes on flute. So grab your flute and I'll see you soon. Okay, welcome. So we're going to begin in a different way than you think. So I know I said grab your flute. At least I think I told you to grab your flute just then. But we're actually going to put the flute aside for a moment because there's actually a lot more to playing flute than just putting the flute on your face. And I think a lot of teachers tend towards the entertainment of, for the student, that is, the entertainment of having them put the flute up to their face and put the whole flute together, and it's almost like this picture moment where they have the flute. But flute is not as immediate of a response as some other instruments, because drummers aren't going to like me for saying this, but a drum, you hit the drum with a stick, it's going to make noise no matter who you are, and you don't have to really figure out how to do this. There's a way of doing it better, of course, than I can do it, or than another person who's not quite a drummer can do it. But there's a lot more to playing flute because you're breathing, and most people haven't breathed like that in their lives yet. So that's one of the things we're going to touch upon today. I actually have a list that I've created, and my approach is about 7 levels of things that contribute to making our flute sound. So one would be breathing awareness, okay? So how do you breathe? What's your air speed? In what direction are you breathing? Those are all really important things. Second, body alignment. How is your body standing? Because your body how's your body? Yeah, how are you standing? That's the second part here, because you're breathing, and your breathing structures, that's all part of your body, okay? So everything going on here is very affected by even how your arms are or how your feet are positioned. Everything affects that, okay? So those are the 2 frequently overlooked ones. Another one would be when the flute is on your face, the angle. So I'll show you this one. Is your flute higher or lower? Is it, in line with your embouchure, which is the way you form your lips? So is it here, here, is your head kind of following it, which is ideal, by the way? Is your flute rolled in or turned out? And there's a lot of combinations, and you can already see why this is a frustrating instrument, right? I love flute, it's not frustrating for me, but when you're a beginner, you are very frustrated playing this instrument sometimes, and hopefully this clears up some of that. So anyways, there's this angle, there's all these angles. Next, so the next one here, how you form your face. So your embouchure, which is the word I said just before, it's a big word for how do you make your face muscles look. And even as I was saying that, I kind of got into my own flute embouchure. Everyone's going to be different because we all have different bodies. We have different faces. Beginners have to develop a lot of facial dexterity in order to overcome all of the difficulties of forming your embouchure, right? So you have a lot to work with here. We're going to take a step back here. We're going to talk about your body first. Okay, so I want you to imagine that your feet are the most important thing right now. You're a tree, okay? Your roots are in your feet, right? So this is the part touching the ground. This is very important. This seems obvious, but this is extremely important. So your feet need to be about hip width apart. And then from there, I need you to imagine your knees, you need to be over the center of your feet. Some people most people naturally stand back a little bit. You can feel the tension in your muscles up the front of your legs. Move forward a little bit. Let yourself be supported by the ground and let your weight be distributed over your feet. From there, your knees need to be, that's what I said before, your knees need to be over the middle of your feet. Your hip joints need to be in line with this as well. We're stacking our bones here. You should be able to release your muscles. From there, we move up to the center body. Everything's going to follow. Your spine lengthens up, which makes your rib cage rise up a little bit. And your sternum, everything should come up, right? And then your shoulders down and back, but we're not tense. This is supposed to be relaxed. Your chin should be lifted. You should kind of feel like you're floating. If you're truly supported by the earth, you're kind of floating upwards. And now this takes a lot of practice. You need to look in the mirror. You need to be aware. This is anatomical awareness, okay? So I'm gonna turn to the side. There's a good yoga imagery for this. So the front half of your body, there's a current upwards, right? And then the back part of your body, this side, is going to be this downward current. So we think of releasing the muscles. Really, even do what I'm doing with my hands. I know it's weird. So releasing your back muscles. And then up the front side of the body, you're lifting. Lift, release. Shake that out. Do it again. This is when your experimentation comes into play, because you need to realize that your body is your body and it's different than other people's bodies. Again, seems obvious, that's frequently overlooked. So lifting, relaxing. Even just that puts you in line. Make sure your feet are where they need to be. I'm a fan of having a nice wide base. A nice wide base to stand on, because that's your foundation. That's where you kind of rise up from, and you really need that connection to the earth, okay? So now you're gonna breathe with me. Take a deep inhale. Ready? Now you probably didn't take that deep of an inhale, right? This time I want you to put your hand on your chest, up here, your sternum, and I want you to put your collarbones. I want you to put your other hands kind of in the middle here. We're not really going to talk much now about what your hands are actually on. Just know that your ribs are there. You have muscles working for you to allow your lungs to expand. Know that your lungs are a lot bigger than you think they are. They extend much further up. If you don't believe me, put your hand here. Again, this could go on for hours. I could really get into more detail in this and spend an hour doing this. And I really want you to make a sound today. So we're going to move on. Deep inhale. Deepest one you've ever taken. Ready? Breathe in with me. Okay, so now we're going to breathe in again. Through your nose. And then out on. So I'm kind of saying who. Say it. Who. 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 Kind of make more of a frowning gesture with your face. Again, you're experimenting with your face because it's different than mine. So what works for me may not work for you and your face. So let's try that again. Inhale. Who. We're going to do a few more of those. Relax. You know, sometimes you just follow my hands. You go home from work and you feel tension. I know I felt tension on the subway today. And that contributes a lot to our playing sometimes, which is, you know, it's sad if you get stuck in that, but if you learn how to breathe, you're not going to be, there's no such thing as a bad tone day. You know, and eventually, I know we're beginners here, eventually you're going to be saying, oh, I'm having such a bad tone day. No, I think you actually just don't know how to relax, right? So, and again, this video is for adults and novice, so, I mean, adults can be novices, adults and children, so if you don't understand, if you're 12 and you don't understand what I'm talking about, someday you will, okay? So, there's a lot of wisdom that comes with playing an instrument, right? And we're still breathing, in, great, so we've covered the way you're standing, the depth of your breath. Make sure it goes all the way down here, and you should feel, let your belly expand. We should do a couple more even after I said that, because there's a trampoline of muscles down here in your pelvic floor. That's a fun word. Pelvic floor, fun 2 words. Let your everything, like your gut, like anything you're thinking about, just expand downwards, and then trampoline is back up on the inhale, right? So on the exhale. Ready? We're inhaling. Feel the expansion down here. Feel your belly. Just let it out. Just no one can, like I'm doing, no one can really see it, right? Let it out. And then notice I'm actually not moving my shoulders. I mean, I guess I'm willingly doing it, but I'm not. It's just happening because of the breathing structures. Ready? Watch me breathe again. No one's perfect. You're gonna feel tension, you know, every day at some point, but it's here. You have to be mindful to change it, okay? So enough about that. Although it's very important, I need you to get your head joint, okay? So grab your head joint. I'm going to grab mine. Now this is very important. It's good to start with just your head joint because it's so much less frustrating, confusing than putting the whole thing together and then trying to deal with all of the angles that I mentioned earlier at once, okay? So you're gonna start, and I know like a lot of people like to do this thing where they like, you know, kiss the flute and then roll it out. This to me doesn't quite line me up as well. It's all about experimentation. So remember how we were saying who, ooh, who. You're probably laughing at me, but I need you to experiment with this. Who. Okay, so it needs to be open. There's space here. There's space in your mouth, between your teeth. Who. This is your echoing chamber. Drop your jaw. I need you to experiment with me, okay? So cover the end of your flute. This is going to be a lower note. It's going to be nicer to hit. Work at the different angles here. Right, so I'm right now moving it around. I stayed where I was comfortable for a while, and then just to show you, there's a lot of different things you can do, right? You can roll in. You can keep rolled out. And you really want to just find what sounds the best, okay? So take a really good breath in and make sure you're standing like you were before, like you didn't have the instrument in your hand. Okay, so feet on the ground. Remember the ground, your knees over the center of your feet, your hip joints over that, your rib cage lifted, the energy going off this side, down the other side. Lift your head, you're standing nice and tall, but not tense. Natural. Take a deep breath. Remember the who. And I'm even putting a at the beginning of it. Don't do that. I didn't realize I was doing that until I realized. So mindfulness again. So just try, okay? like do. I like do because instead of saying two, a lot of people say two is kind of, for my mouth, an upturned kind of thing, and smiling embouchures are pretty frowned upon. No pun intended. So we want to do a nice frowning embouchure here. But again, not tense. You have control of your muscles, but you're a beginner, so you really need to relax your face. Otherwise, you're going to have a lot of jaw tension, and that can cause some severe problems for professionals. So again, bring your head joint up. I'm going to get a little closer here. I want you, this is very strange. Okay. I want you to really be able to see my embouchure here. So I'm also, not really standing the best because I'm kind of crouching under this, but you can really clearly see my embouchure. It's not smiling. Some people will play like this. I broke that habit a long time ago because it's not good for you. It's not good for your sound. Yeah. If anything, just a little frown. Okay, and now, if you're not getting the sound, which is very likely, because I haven't addressed one thing, air direction. Okay, so you want to first think about your airstream here and where it's going. So put your hands in front of you, kind of close to your body, because if you think about the flute, it's right here. But I want you to put it low, because it's harder to hit if it's low. Okay, so I'm going to turn this way too, so you can see kind of what that looks like. Again, still proper alignment, breathing in. Try to hit your hand now. Notice the width of the airstream. This matters. Play with your embouchure, okay? So make it different shapes. Do a lot of different things with it, okay? Inhale again. Don't move your head down. Bring your hand up higher to here. Good, so if you're hitting it, it's hard to not hit it when it's right here. See, this is what I'm saying. Your flute's right here, okay? You might be making it a lot harder than you think you are if you really consider you're not blowing down here. It's right here. So you really want to aim your air in. The more air in the tube, the better. So again, I'm sorry, I'm not going to play yet. Again, here. I'm going to get closer. Watch my embouchure. So it's here. So again, this is changing. I'm kind of thinking of different notes as well. You can't really see an opening there for that. Grab your head joint now. So your head joint, you're gonna rest it right in the middle here. The opening of the hole, and this is where you should look for a mirror. As I said before, forget doing this and kissing and rolling down, because that doesn't work for everyone, doesn't work for me. It's not the best sound I can get. And that's why my teaching is very rooted in experimentation, because again, you have a body that no one else has, right? You look different, it feels different for you than it does for me. We're figuring out what works for you. So I can't tell you definitively this is how you do it. You have to come to that on your own. You have to say, oh, this sounds good. When I do this, it sounds less good. When I do this, it sounds better than it did before. And then you have to kind of weed out what works and what doesn't again. So, you get closer here. Remember that, ooh, deep breath in. I'm using vibrato. Go for a straight tone at first, okay? So just, and also let's start with who. not do. Who? Ready? Now try the higher of the few notes that you can get off your embouchure. I mean your head joint. With your embouchure on your head joint. Experiment. I'm moving my embouchure around, you can too. Don't worry about sounding bad. It might. It very well might. So. Notice how different the two sound. A lot of times with higher notes, step back again. A lot of times with higher notes, you're going to notice that there's a little less room. We go for more of an ah. For low notes, ooh, ah, ooh, ah, ooh. Your jaw doesn't move there. Ah, ooh. Different, right? So experiment with that. There's a lot of fun things you can do with just your head joint too. Okay, so last but not least, I'm going to play a little bit, and the reason why I'm doing this is to show you flutists get into a flow eventually, and everything becomes easier. So these first few steps are really hard. Don't give up, please. Don't give up. Seek a teacher, and really watch them. Observation is key here. So you really want to figure out what other flutists look like when they're playing, and when they're playing well. Typically, is that what you'd want to watch for. What do they look like when they're playing? And it's a little something called flow. So in anything, even sports, anything dealing with this much focus on your body and mindfulness, you need to figure out how to get the flow down, and especially this is an art form that you haven't started yet. So I think it's important for you to see a flutist playing a piece, seeing how they do, how they change things in their body as they're playing. So I'm going to play Bote Image for you. It's a really beautiful piece, but I'm not going to talk much about it. I just want you to really listen, watch me. Watch when I'm when I fix things that could be better. Watch when I am breathing, okay? So really get a sense of what it looks like to have flow, because it's not everything's perfect all the time, although you might think that from not having played flute for long. It's not about that. You're not a flute robot. You are a human with a body, and you're breathing, and you are righting yourself, and it's this miracle that we can even stand upright. Never mind hold an instrument and play, right? So stay tuned, and I will show you some of that soon. Hi guys, so thank you for listening. I hope this helps. The main thing to keep in mind here is your body and your alignment to your body, your breathing and how deeply you're breathing, the direction that you're breathing in, the angles that your flute are at, how much you rolled in or out, your alignment of your flute, right? So these joints all move. And what else? There are other things. Here, we'll start that again. So thank you for listening. So there are a few things just to keep in mind here. Keep on trying, keep on experimenting. Don't give up because you feel like, this didn't help much, or I'm not getting it instantly, because you're not. Some flutists have gone on for 3 weeks without getting it instantly, and that's okay. That's just, and some people get it right away, which is rare, but it happens. So we want to keep in mind angles of your flute, how your flute's put together, that's all about your flute, and then your body, how you're standing, and how you're breathing, and then what your embouchure is doing to get your air up and over and into your flute, okay? So experiment, stand in a mirror, do this, a million times in a mirror, just setting yourself up and then trying. Don't get frustrated, tension's going to make it harder for you. If you can't do it, one of my flute teachers used to say, just take the flute off of your face. Just give yourself some time. It's okay to say to yourself, like, I don't know about this instrument, and then come back to it, because you know what? It's worth it. It's a really beautiful instrument. And yeah, I hope that helps. All right, thank you. And I will be seeing more of you, and I hope to be posting more demo videos soon. Bye.